Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast Twitch channel, and I'm Michael, and we'll be playing some more Final Fantasy today. So, got everything booted back up. This will be my second session, probably going to get to at least third level and then probably go through the first dungeon. I remembered this time to change the settings so that it won't take so long for the messages to come up. So probably going to do just some grinding. For this point, I need about 147 experience points, I believe, to go to the next level. And I'd like to try to get that done, and then again go through that first dungeon if I can. Hopefully I won't have to go through too many cycles of fighting and going to the inn and resting to do that. So again, if you saw the first one, the messages are scrolling much faster now. You probably can also hear my dog upstairs barking because probably mailman or a bird or just a weird light on the wall. She's a bit silly of a dog. So I needed 147, now I need 141. It's going to take a little while. Sorry. Trying to work on my eye lines. I know they're not great anyways, but every now and then I catch a glimpse of myself, and then I'm like, why am I not looking at the camera? So yeah, this was one of the first games that I played on I played on the original Nintendo, and I love this game. I have probably more hours in on this game than I do my degree. If I spent as much time at work focused as I did on this game as a kid, I probably would be running my own company. I just loved this game. This was my first experience with like a role-playing game, video game, and the different choices you get to make and leveling up and then finding new weapons and equipment. It just attached to me in some way. I really enjoyed it, which shouldn't be much of a surprise. Primarily, this channel is a role-playing game channel. We do a lot of role-playing game stuff. That's, again, kind of what I started doing with the podcast. So shouldn't be too much of a surprise that, as a kid, this game just grabbed my imagination and didn't let go. So I messed up there, and I had the division of who was attacking who off, and oh well. So if you're not familiar with Final Fantasy, the story behind it is that you are 4 warriors of light, and each of the characters I have has a crystal that's currently dim. And throughout the game, we will be hopefully filling those crystals with energy, of elemental energy, and eventually use all that power to fight the main boss. Now, I'm not doing a lot of exploring because I already know where most things are. I don't have perfect memory of everything. I'll have to look around some, but for the most part, I know where I'm going. But in this initial area, you're landlocked. Like, you can't really go anywhere. If you can see up here at the top, there's a mission that I haven't technically accepted because I didn't go see the king yet. Though, if you're first time playing, you don't know what you're doing, you probably would have wandered into that castle. And the castle tells you that his daughter, Sarah, has been captured and asks you to rescue her, which is what I'm going to do, but I want to be third level before I attempt it. And she's being held captive up to the north. Once I've freed her, then the game opens up and lets me explore further. And that was one of the things that really, to this day, I can remember that feeling of, holy crap, this whole thing I've done, which, I've had several hours into the game, was like the prologue. Like, it really, the game didn't even really start until after that. And for whatever reason, that just really captured my, you used the phrase already, captured my imagination. But it was like exciting. Like, how big of a world is this? I mean, to this point, I probably had only played the original Super Mario Brothers, maybe Metroid. And I think I mentioned this on an earlier stream a while back, but the first time I played Legend of Zelda, I hated it. I didn't didn't have the instruction booklet, so I had no idea what I was doing. Probably didn't even get the sword. Like I probably didn't have that. I was just wandering around getting killed and getting lost, and it was entirely frustrating. And my sister's boyfriend at the time ended up showing me like this is how the game works, and it has become one of my favorite games. I probably have played Zelda more than I played Final Fantasy. I've streamed it a little bit, so I just wanted to change it up and do Final Fantasy, but eventually I'll get back to doing the first Legend of Zelda. And I haven't kept up with it like a lot of the new Zeldas. I just haven't played. I'm sure I would love them if I did. I don't have the time or inclination at this point. But I also have the Super Nintendo console, and I've never played The Link to the Past, I think is what it's called. So I think that might be one of the next games that after I get through a couple of these and kind of get things worked out, get comfortable, and get onto a schedule, maybe playing that. The thing that worries me is that I have no idea what I'm doing because I've never played it before. I don't know if that would be more or less entertaining or watchable, just in general, watching someone flounder through a game. Maybe when the people watching know much more about it than I do and frustrating them with my ignorance. Or at least this game, like I pretty much know what I'm doing. Might make mistakes, might get killed at some point in time, might make a calculation, an error in my calculations, but for the most part, I know what I'm doing. Speaking of which, let's check our status. So let me show that. So on the pause menu, top left, you can see the 4 orbs. Currently, they're all dark. Below that is, it says G. I was assuming it's gold, but it's actually Gil in the Final Fantasy world, but it's basically gold. And then you have your heroes. So I got Cap level 2, Hulk level 2. Shows their current hit points versus their maximum. So Hulk there is not quite halfway down. Then you can click on items. And if you have any items, they'll show up here. Later in the game, I'll get magic items that you can actually use in combat. Magic, you can choose. Now Cap doesn't cast spells, so he has none. But like Wanda, I have 3 level 1 spell slots, and the only spell I have is currently Cure. I don't know why I said it that way. Cure. And then I have 1 level 2 spell slot, but I don't have any level 2 spells. Weapons, so you can trade equipment around, and you do have to equip it. That's something I messed up very early on, is I thought just buying weapons made them attached or equipped, and they don't. So that could be a problem. And then armor, same thing. And then status, which will tell you like your stats. So if you're really interested, you can check to see how they change between levels and like what that means to when you level, how it affects it. But mostly I'm keeping up with how many experience points I currently have, 94, versus how many I need, which is 102. So if I go on up to the dungeon where Sarah is being held, I probably could get those 100 experience points much quicker, but I think I'm going to die. There's a couple creatures in there that are pretty tough, and it's kind of random. Or if I go straight in and try to fight the guy that's holding Sarah hostage, I can't remember his name right now. Garland, that's right, Garland. He will probably kill me. So, and I don't like that. It's one of my little idiosyncrasies. I like to keep all my characters at the same level. The game does give you a way to resurrect. Oh, here we got some green or gray imps or grimps. But I don't like that. So usually if I end up getting a character killed, I'll just turn it off and reboot from the last save. I just really like having all my characters the same level all the time. It's just a thing about me. I probably could have divided that battle up, but I was a little bit worried. So 9, okay, all right, there we go. I could handle taking 9 every time. That'd be much faster. Much like many of these games, the further I explore away from this home base, the more dangerous things will become. I may have the message speed too fast now, but basically what that said is that I got an ambush, so I get a free attack before they get to go. So fingers crossed, that means I can take out 4 of them. Nope. Yeah, still. 3 of 6 is not bad, and I did some damage to this one, so any other hit should take it out. There we go. So same fight, but this time I don't have the ambush, so we'll go intermixed. I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog's going crazy upstairs. Not as much barking right now, but just like running to the house, trotting, I can hear it. Sounds like horses up there. So probably somewhere in the 80s, right? Oh, 75, even better. So 75 more experience to go. So that's like 10 to 12 fights. So the fighter, true to its title, is generally your most powerful direct combatant. They can equip the most powerful weapons, which are generally your swords. They can equip your most powerful armor. So later, and they also get the most hit points. So like, late stage of the game, it would not be unreasonable for Cap there to have 400 or 500 hit points, fully decked out in, enchanted armor and powerful sword. So it's really good frontline fighter. It's your basic tank. The black belt is a little bit different. I mentioned in the first stream that eventually the black belt will be my strongest damage dealer to a single target. And that's sort of true. So right now I have these nunchucks equipped. Because again, being a martial artist black belt, there's only certain weapons they can use. And probably around, I think it's around 7, 8, certainly by level 10, their attacks using those weapons start to seem like they go downhill, like they start to be worse. And what I figured out, just because I didn't have the instruction booklet, no one told me, is it gets to a point where you want to unequip their weapons and just let them punch. And what happens is they are able to attack multiple times. And all the characters will do that. Like, level 20, my fighter might get 2 or 3 attacks on a single turn. The animation doesn't change. It's just when it goes with his weapon, it'll come up and say, 3 hits. So you're more likely to do more damage. Well, the black belt will get like 6, 7, 8 attacks a turn. And then there's a spell called Fast, or Haste, basically, which doubles your attack speed. So at those higher levels, you can cast Haste on your black belt. Now they get like 20 attacks. And because they get so many attacks, even though individually their attacks are a little bit less, there's like that multiplier in there. So the fighter goes from 4 attacks to 8, but the black belt goes from 8 to 16 and will eventually do a lot more damage because of it. The white wizard is primarily healing, so there's a lot of curative spells. You can target individual curative spells that will target the entire team. Also, like poison negation, and there's a part of the game where getting poisoned really sucks. So you can basically cure poison. You can put like elemental protection. One of the dungeons we'll go into later is like a volcano, so there's lots of ambient fire damage, frost, ambient damage. So they basically can kind of protect, increase your dodge, increase your evasion. Again, they do have like an undead attack spell called Harm, which is very powerful. So when you're fighting undead, if you cast a harm spell, even like a low level harm spell, pretty effective. All right, I'm over halfway there. So this hasn't been too excruciatingly painful, hopefully. I've played the game with a bunch of different configurations, all wizards, all white wizards, all black wizards, all fighters. Playing with all fighters is kind of interesting because you have so many hit points, you have so much attack and defense. In a lot of ways, the game is kind of easy. Like you can get further quicker with 4 fighters than you can other configurations if you're not worried about, again, having even one character die. But the last time I tried that, when I got to the main boss, I couldn't beat them with 4 fighters. The main boss does a ton of damage, but also has the ability to heal itself. Oh, see, I just lost Hulk. Dagnabbit. So I want to try to run away so that I don't change the experience points, but there's a chance. Oh, okay. So I was able to run away. So I'll come in here and I'll heal Hulk. And this is just because I don't like to have my characters not have the same experience points. It's just a weird thing I do. But yeah, so having 4 fighters, you can get through the game kind of easier. But I wasn't able to beat the main boss, and I'm sure if I kept leveling and grinding for a long time, I could eventually get those characters just strong enough. But it was frustrating, to say the least. So let's add harm and fog. And Loki. Lit is for lightning. Lock is a spell that makes your attack percentages go up a lot, so you're much more likely to hit. I haven't found it's all that particularly useful. But I did beat the game with 4 wizards. It was very tough, especially when you don't want anybody to die at all. But there's some of the later spells are so powerful, and you get enough spell slots that when you have 4 of them, you can just cast. Oh no, I didn't realize Hulk didn't get his hit points back. For some reason, I thought I had. Well, I thought I went to the end, but I didn't. So fingers crossed that I didn't just waste time here. Oh, come on, come on. A little bit worried there. All right, so Wanda should be able to get Hulk back up at least to decent fighting shape. I guess it was buying those spells. It tricked my mind into thinking that I had already went to the end. So the end is where you rest up. In this town, it costs 30 gold, and then it fully heals you all your hit points, all your magic point spell slots. Doesn't cure things like poison though, but it will give you all your hit points back. As you progress in the game, each town it's more expensive, but it does the same thing. Late stages in the game, you have the ability to travel pretty easily almost anywhere you want. So I'll often come back to this town just to rest up, just because it's cheaper. Even though by that point I have probably like 1,000,000 gold and it doesn't matter. I don't know. Just I refuse to overpay for lodgings, I guess. 34, closing in, getting close. Sorry. Confused myself there for a second. So there's a couple characters I didn't choose. There's a red mage and a thief, I think what it is. The red mage is able to cast a combination of white magic and black magic. So they don't have full access to all the white spells. They don't have all the access to black spells, but they can cast a lot of them. But they also have pretty good attack. So they're kind of like taking the fighter, the white wizard, and the black wizard, all mixing them together. So it's, it's not as powerful as a fighter, and it's not as powerful as a wizard, but it's very versatile. And it's another of those, if you maybe did 4 red mages, you'd probably be able to get pretty far pretty quick. Don't know that you'd be able to beat the game, at least not with a lot of leveling up at the end, but that might be a fun experiment sometime. I should be able to do that math in my head, but I'm just not paying attention. All right, 17. Here we go. So close. 3, maybe 4 fights, unless I get a really good one or get a really bad one. So that should be what, 10 left? So 2 fights, unless it's like a 2 or 3 goblin. There we go. I keep getting these ogres 5 at a time. Imps 5 at a time. It'll go quicker. So it should just be 3 left. So really any fight should get us there. I'm trying to stay closer to the front where the entrance is, just in case I get a tough fight, and then I don't want to do another one before we get there. All right, here we go. This should be it. There we go. Yay! Okay, so we should level up, cap level 3. So you can see hit points went to 88. A couple of the individual stats have gone up. Hulk went to 68. Wanda 55. And Loki just 49, so we got 1 hit point. Good job, Loki. I'm gonna go to the item shop first. I need 30 gold to go to the inn, which I definitely have to do. But 320, so get us a tent. 1 cure. Okay. So the tent allows us to camp in the wilderness. Which basically creates a save point, so I can save just before I go into the dungeon. So if things go horribly, I can just reset from outside. And I think it gives some of your hit points and stuff back, but it's not a full heal. Later on, there's other items like cabins and such, that magic houses that do more. So now I'm heading to the north. I'm actually just going to run because I don't want to fight anything on the way. Hopefully I don't get hurt too bad. Now there's no guarantee that you will run away when you try to run away. Again, it's random based on your statistics, but if you have a pretty good evasion, it's easier. All right, here we go. Good job, Cap. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my tent, even though I probably don't really need to. But again, I got a save point, I'm fully healed, I can go in. So this is our first actual dungeon. Now there's 4 rooms in this dungeon, 1 in each of the corners. 2 of them are locked currently by a key that I don't have, and the other 2 don't have anything in it that's really worth going for. So I'm just going to go in and rescue Sarah. So let's interact here with Garland. He's going to knock me down, he says. So this is Garland. So fight, fight, fog, and fire. Hoping that fog will help protect Cap from the attacks he's sure to. Yep, Garland missed the first attack. So that was a good use of that spell. So I'll try it again. And I think Garland has 200 hit points, if I remember correctly. Ooh, Cap missed. So the fire is going to do 25-ish each time. Plus whatever Cap does. Oh, there we go. Apparently I had less than 200. So that's pretty easy. All right. So the monsters are perished. Got 32 experience, 250 gold. And now I can go talk to Sarah. And we teleport instantly back to the castle where we can talk to the king. So he has ordered that a bridge be built so that we can get further onto the continent. And very important that you talk to Sarah. I forgot this once. She has an item that you have to have. If you don't have it, you can't get through a certain part of the game. So she has given us the loot. You can talk to the guards, but they don't have a whole lot to say. There's really nothing down here. There might be somebody to talk to. Yeah, another guard. Now this is the castle grounds, and there's lots of locked rooms, which once I have the key, I can come back and get items. You can also talk to people. This is the princess's sister, but there's really not anything worth doing now. Well, let's go ahead and, even though I don't really need it, because that was a pretty easy battle, let's go ahead and save at the end, just in case. And then I'm going to try to get to the next town, and then that's where I'll quit for this session. Because I wanted to get to the point where the bridge is built. So now you can see the bridge is there where it wasn't. Whew. So we're going to fight some wolves. Nice. And then here we get our cutscene where we actually find out this is the beginning of the game. And so their journey begins. What awaits the four? They do not know. each holding an orb that 2,000 years ago shined with the beauty from within, but now only darkness. Come, start your journey. Return to the light of peace to our world. I can't read. So then you get some credits, but you can just get through here. There we go. All right. So again, my plan here is just to get to the next town and then save it, because I can't save in the middle because I forgot to buy another tent. But there's some potentially tough battles, so I'm just going to run away. Actually, I'm going to use sleep here with Loki just in case I don't get away. There's a chance I'll be able to put most of these to sleep, which this is what's going to happen is I'm going to put them to sleep and then we're going to run away. Whew. Yeah, see, it gets very dangerous very quickly. Oh, this is not good. Come on, fingers crossed. Please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Whew. I thought that was going to be it. All right, I'm getting close. Right here. Oh, come on. Oh no. 2 ogres at level 3, not good, and I don't have any sleep spells. Whew. There we go. That was a little worrisome. All right, now I'm in the town, so I'm safe. So I'll go to the inn, save and rest, and then next time I play, we'll pick up here. There's a little bit to be done here, but there's also a lot more grinding that has to happen. All right, there it is. Thank you for watching. See you next time.